Hi, it's Paul from Model Builder International again. Just in case you didn't get it on the last video, remember our website has moved a bit. Now everything is underneath hobbylinkinternational.com. So Model Builder International is mbi.hobbylinkinternational.com. And using the menu at the top you can jump between the various sites pretty quickly. That's Sci-Fi Fantasy, also the shop, what else is there, Models Tube, and the community site are all underneath hobbylinkinternational.com, all together in one place so you can quickly access anything and everything inside there. And today we're going to have a quick look through a new book from Kagero. This one's Photosniper 3D, this one's on the Panzer II and the Luchs. Both the Panzer I and II were considered as stopgaps before the arrival of more advanced models, basically the Panzer IIIs and IVs. Despite this, the Panzer II remained in service throughout the war, being the mainline tank in German service, being used as a scout reconnaissance vehicle, although many wheeled vehicles performed this task far better. In this particular role, the Panzer II lacked both speed and range. It was gradually improved and produced until 1943 as no satisfactory replacement was ready. Although the vehicle had originally been designed as a stopgap while the Panzer IIIs and IVs were coming along, it nonetheless went on to play an important role in the early years of World War II, especially during the Polish and French campaigns. The Panzer II was the most numerous tank in the German Panzer divisions at the beginning of the war. It was used in both North Africa against the Western Allies and on the Eastern Front against the Soviet Union. The Panzer II was supplanted by the IIIs and IVs in 1940-41. By the end of 1942 it had been largely removed from frontline service and was used for training and on secondary fronts. The turrets of the then obsolete Panzer Is and IIs were reused as gun turrets on defensive bunkers, particularly on the Atlantic Wall. Production of the tank itself ceased by January 1944, but the chassis remained in use as the basis for several other armoured vehicles, chiefly self-propelled artillery and tank destroyers. The Panzer II Aus L Luchs, or Lynx, was the only Panzer II designed with the overlapping interleaved road wheels. About 100 were built from September 1943 to January 1944, in addition to the conversion of the 4 Aus M tanks. Originally given the experimental designation VK1303, it was given the popular name of Lynx. It was larger than the previous Panzer IIs in most dimensions. Total weight was 11.8 tons, 30mm of armour on the front, 20mm on the sides and back, crew of 4, and a much faster tank, more agile, and had a better range. Okay, so let's have a look, see what we get inside the book. As I said, Photosniper 3D, this is volume 25, on the Panzer II, and also includes the Panzer II L Luchs, which was basically a different vehicle really. So, and obviously published by Kagero. So, obviously the Panzer II's light tank. So it starts off with history of the light tank's development, frontline tanks, black and white images throughout, going through the story of basically where the Panzer II came from. Essentially an interim vehicle while they're waiting for the IIIs and IVs to be produced in numbers. But it ended up being the most numerical tank in the Polish campaign and the Western campaign, and we're still around for a long time. Goes through the different versions with a bit of detail about the differences between each one. As I said, with black and white photos before. That's like up to there's like a story of the development of the Panzer II. Then a bit of background about its role, armoured reconnaissance, and how when it when it came to the point they realised that it was no longer viable against tanks, it moved into the armoured reconnaissance role. Production numbers, combat employment, Panzer II in combat, various bits of information. We go on to the Panzer II Aus L Luchs, or Lynx. Basically, it's a completely different vehicle, but still a Panzer II, still providing the armoured reconnaissance role. A bit of background on that, information about camouflage, And then we get into 3D line diagrams. These are not to any particular scale, but it starts off with the Panzer IIA. You can see a lot of the differences here anyway. Notice the running gear and the rounded hull of the front, that's an A. It goes through the different versions of those, some cutaway diagrams. Then on to, this is a B, see the running gear has changed, still a rounded front though. Then on to the C, it's an angular front. Those are the easy ways to tell them apart. And image diagrams looking from different directions. The C, information on the C's. D's were different running gear. These were like a short, there wasn't that many of these made, and they were all eventually converted into flamethrower tanks. So the D version is a bit like a sort of a side street of the Panzer II development, and there's quite a few changes there. And the F, notice it's a flat front across the front of the hull there. That's the way to spot those easily. And the different commander's cupola at the top there, which also came in a bit earlier actually. That's another thing from the C's. But there's differences between them all, so you can spot the difference as long as the photograph is from the right angle. And then we get on to the L, which is, as I said, a completely different vehicle produced later in the war. There's a couple of these left in museums, one of which you saw in the video just before this. Then basically coloured diagrams to start with. A 2-hour C from all sorts of different angles, showing you all the different bits and pieces. So you can easily get into some close-ups as well. Some really close-ups, you can count the rivets. Some bolt-on armour on this one. More close-ups. Oops. Real close-ups. It's got the engine of the, basically starting with the A, this is what the engine looked like. Lots of nice detailing here. So pretty much anything you might want to look at is in here. It's a complete Panzer II C basically. And let me get on to, this is an F of the used in North Africa. So basically then we do something similar with the F, but there's not quite as many photographs as this one, of this one. Different angles. You can see there's the shot deflector in front of the turret there. That's another way to tell these ones. And again the flat front. And then there's overviews. And then we come on to the L, produced between September 43 and January 44. By then production of the Panzer II had long finished. Well, obviously the hull was used for a variety of vehicles, and there's still Panzer IIs around in training units. But this Panzer II L was a pretty neat vehicle. It was, for what it was designed for, armoured reconnaissance, it was as good as anything out there. Fast, small, nimble, good range. So you get a full set of 3D diagrams of that one as well, again going in for close-ups. And there you have it. There's an advert for Photosniper Panzer IV Volume 1 and Volume 2. Some pictures on there. So overall, it's a perfect book for a modeller. The lots of diagrams of a Panzer IIc and a Panzer IIL, the two different types there. So there'll be plenty there for you to look up references, see exactly where something's supposed to be, what it's supposed to look like. Bit of historical background. The downside, I say the English, it's in English only. The English is a little grammatically incorrect in places. If English is your first language, you won't have a problem with it though, you'll get what they're trying to say. It doesn't detract from it, but sometimes you just sort of stop mid-sentence and realise that, oh, that's what they're trying to say. Other than that, if you've got a Panzer II of either the early versions or the Luchs on the desk. This is a perfect book to have on the desk with you. Many thanks to Kagero for sending it along for us to have a look at.